Hey everybody, and welcome back to Churn Farms. It is day 12 of mid-spring, and we have finally gotten our soil temperatures up to 41 degrees, as you can see there, and we've been busy planting. So far we've put in wheat on field 19 and canola on field 31. We are pretty much got our planting schedule figured out. We're going to put in corn on 34, and that corn will be for the BGA. We're going to put corn in on fields 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11. That corn will be for a couple different purposes. It will be for silage for the cows, and will also be run through the harvester for grain for the pigs. We're going to put soybeans in field 28 and 14, and in field 16 we're going to put in our potatoes, and then field 18 we're probably going to put in we'll probably just put corn in there. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. So we're here with our big Great Plains cedar. Now I do know that realistically, this cedar is a bit overkill for this size field. That is for sure. But it was very nice for both fields 19, 31, and 31. It'll be nice on 28 and 14 when we get around to putting soybeans in there. But for this field, it is a little bit of an overkill. It is a little large to try to turn because of the long tongue, but we can manage, and really it just saves me having to buy a small seeder for these smaller fields, and either taking a huge amount of time to seed the larger fields, or we just have a little bit of navigation problems with the smaller fields on this cedar. What I liked about this cedar is the usage rate is very close as far as fertilization or fertilizer and seed usage. So we're just going to seed here. My plan is for episodes to have 2 seeding episodes. We're going to do this one with our Great Plains cedar, then we're going to do another one with the Gestapo or whatever that cedar is called. I forget at the moment. No, it starts with a G. We'll do another video using that particular cedar to kind of show it off a little bit. That's the one that we're going to be using to put our corn in the ground. But obviously our ground temps are way too cold yet for corn. Let's look at the forecast. We still have temps predicted in the 50s. We do have 4 of the next 7 days is going to be rain, and we're not going to get out of the 50s at all during that week. So I don't see our ground temp coming up too terrible much in the next 7 days. I wouldn't be surprised if by day 19 it's not maybe 43 degrees. Doesn't really move too terrible quick when you've got a bunch of days of rain and not a lot of temperatures that are significantly higher than the ground temperature is. That's okay, because if we look at our seasons menu, we have plenty of time to get our corn and beans in the ground. But technically we're not to be planting our corn or beans until late spring anyway, which is day 17. And we have until the 8th day of summer to get them in the ground. Right now we are putting our wheat, canola in, and our barley. We're well within the planting range there, as well as our potatoes. So we'll probably be putting potatoes in probably in the next game day or two, as we quickly run out of fields to plant as a result of just our soil temperatures. So again, our forecast is through day 7 through day 19. Even if we had desired soil temperatures, we wouldn't be wanting to plant our corn until day 17 at the earliest. But I don't see us having ample ground temperatures until then. And in fact, I think back to last year, we were down to the wire with respect to finally hitting 50-degree ground temp. It wasn't until I think we had maybe only 1 day or 2 days left in the planting season before we hit 50 degrees on the ground temperature. And as a result, had we waited to get 50-degree ground temp, we would not have had enough time to get the seed in the ground. Kind of hedged the bets a little bit and went ahead and put corn in before it was the desired ground temp, and just hoped that it was going to get up to temperature. Basically, we took a stance of, well, if we plant it and it doesn't get to 50, we'll lose the crop. You know, that's just how it works. If we wait and we run out of time to plant, well, we don't have a crop, so that's the same as losing it. If we plant and kind of just hedge our bets and we end up having 50-degree ground temp by the time we need it, then we win. So that's what we went with, is kind of a win situation, as opposed to a lose-lose situation where if we just sat around and waited, we would have probably lost our crop and wouldn't have been able to get the pigs. Speaking of those little porkers, we've got 115 of them now. I don't recall what we had, maybe the last video we had, but it may have been as few as 107. That number kind of rings a bell, maybe 112. We're getting one nearly every day now. New pig. You can see the seed usage there. Our seed and fertilizer are both at 88%. Well, seed's at 88% and fertilizer's still hanging at 89%. But it's not like some of those other seeders where the usage is such that, you know, you really wonder why on earth does this thing hold twice as much fertilizer as it does seed, and used fertilizer at half the rate as seed is, you know. So I think this seeder was over at modhoster.com. That's where I found it. Just put in Great Plains, I'm sure it'll come up. Plan is, once we finish planting here in field 10, we're going to jump over to field 12 and put barley in there, and then also put barley in field 13. That's the plan for the day, or at least the plan for this seeder. You can see it's already 7:15. Know how much longer we're going to get through before we have to stop because it's too dark. Go. The in-game Great Plains seeder that looks like this one, oh my gosh, I hate using that thing. Just doesn't work very good in my opinion. This thing, even though it's big, it works a heck of a lot better. You open up the doors. You know, I would like to have seen the seed spread across all 3 chambers. I'd like to have seen a smaller fertilizer chamber spread across all 3. But you get what you got. So got seed in the middle one, fertilizer in the left one, and the right one just remains empty. Taking pretty quick work this particular field. So I have to say I am now super motivated to finish this series out because I have got plans for a new series after this one. I've got plans for the series basically that will replace both this one and Midtown. I want to run both this series and Midtown till autumn. Midtown, we are just now coming into toward the end of winter, just now coming into spring of the second year. We started that series on we started that series Midtown on the last day of late spring in year one. Worked all the way through summer, autumn, and winter, and we are about to start spring again. So we will, of course, I say spring again. You all didn't see spring the first year. I did all of that work off camera. All the plowing and the seeding and the prep work and the caring for the animals that whole time. It's all done off camera. We're going to finish, we're going to play this map, Churn Farms, till the last day of autumn. We're going to sell everything. We're going to do the same thing with Midtown, and it does not escape me that we are fairly close together as far as timing on both this series and Midtown. Although I do plan on technically wrapping up 24-day play before I wrap up Midtown, but we will wait until we have finished both this map and Midtown before we start the new project. New project will be on the new map that came out over at FSUK. It's called Rathlin Island, I believe is what it's called. It is a English map, so we're going to be back in the UK area, but it is pretty cool. If you haven't checked out my video on that map, I encourage you to go check that out. It's got lots of cool features that I haven't seen in too many maps implemented. So I've got some pretty good plans for that. Still kind of solidifying what we're going to do, but I've got some pretty good plans. You know, I consider this map in this series kind of more of a career-based series. We started with literally exactly what you have when you start the map. If you were playing yourself, did not add any money in to the series. All the money we had for our first year was obtained by selling the starting equipment, being very careful with what we purchased as far as our fleet, and running a very lean fleet from the beginning, and trying to maintain that lean fleet throughout the whole first year. Used all the money that we earned in crop profits and other things to purchase our animals in that first year, and pretty much have not added money into the series for the purpose of playing the game. Now on Midtown is kind of the opposite. That's really not a career play. Before I started the map, I added animals. So I didn't buy the animals. They came with the map, so to speak. So I added them in. We went and got our 1,000,000 gold, or 100 gold. Got ourselves $1 million, bought some more fields. Some of the fields that we owned at the start we bought before we started playing the game. So a lot of what we have on Midtown, we technically didn't earn. We just kind of added it to the save and kind of started it that way. So I kind of like the career play. So I'm batting around the idea of doing a more career-based play again on the new map. Also batting around an interesting animal idea that would really not work well with a traditional career play, simply because it would take so long to build up the animals that I want to do. So I'm still trying to work out the details, maybe it'll be a hybrid of the two ideas, but we'll just have to see. And I'm really eager to get started on that. So like I said, there's probably only going to be maybe 2 seeding episodes. Churn. This one and one other. Obviously a significant time will pass between the two, because I needed to get fairly close to the 50-degree mark to do my corn and soybean planting, or at least be reasonably confident again that it's either going to hit 50 degrees, or we're just going to bank that it's going to hit 50 degrees and kind of gamble and see what happens. I can say it's probably possible with seasons that you could have a year where you don't get to 50 degrees before you can't plant corn anymore. And I guess what that means is there's no corn in the ground. There's no corn that season, that year. That would be a very interesting predicament to be in. Be in a predicament where you have, let's say, pigs. You need corn, but you can't plant corn, or the corn you planted withered as a result of the ground temperature never coming up where you need it to be. You're kind of at a position where you need to then buy the corn and buy it into the farm. Thankfully, there are mods for that. There is a buyable silo mod that you can get. Will allow you to buy, I think, 20,000 liters of corn. It's delivered to the shop in the form of a silo that you pull a trailer up underneath and fill. Then once the silo is empty, the silo disappears. Kind of like a bag or a pallet would disappear once it's empty. But you could very realistically maybe be in a situation where you just can't get the crop in the ground, and as a result, you have to buy your animal feed in. You have to buy pig food in, or something like that. I think what we're going to do is finish out this field. It's getting kind of dark, and then we will maybe reconvene when it is morning to finish up the other field of wheat. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. We have finished our seeding over on what was that field? Field 12, and now we need to go start work on field 13. So we went ahead and just left our tractor up here, since we knew we were going to be working right here. No need to put everything away. And we're just going to go ahead and get started back on field 13. And I was thinking last night after we got done talking that I had forgot to mention something pretty cool that I found out the other day. And that relates with course play. So let's show you this here. Let's pretend we're going to do a course on this field, which is field 13. And we'll do it from the current position, which is rather cool option in course play as of late. And we're just going to do 3 headlands just because I know that works real good for this size seeder. And we're going to go ahead and set that up. I'm going to take a look at it again. Doesn't look too terrible bad. But what the feature I want to show you is this feature right here. Let me get you lined up here. Alright. So we're going to go to first waypoint. Now look at this feature right here. This is something new that I think is in the development version of Courseplay. And it says fertilizer function of sowing machine activated. And we can turn it off. So when it's activated, it will fertilize. When it's deactivated, it will not. So let's take a look at the map and take a look at our fertilization states. So you can see field 10 and 12, where we are at 3 stages, as we are with 31 and 19. Those are all fields that we planted. Field 13, though, is at 2 stages. So let's just for fun leave that on deactivated. First waypoint. And let's just see what happens. See, our seed is going down, but our fertilizer is not. It is staying at 1049. There is nothing special about this seeder other than the fact that it is a modded seeder. Stop. Let's hit activate and do next closest waypoint. And now you can see our fertilizer is going down. So that is pretty cool. Let's take a look, and you can see that first little bit there is not being fertilized, but it is seeded. And now we are fertilizing. So I thought that was a pretty cool feature that seems to have been added to Courseplay. Look for it when you're doing your seeding next time, especially if you want to play the game in a scenario where you're pretending to only use organic fertilizer, meaning slurry, manure, and weeding. That would be another example of an organic fertilization method. If that's how you're working, then you may be that you can't use your favorite seeder because it has the fertilize function. But with this capability of Courseplay, you can now use your favorite seeder and just flat out not use fertilizer that normally it would require. Now this particular seeder does not. I do not have that. There is a mod that you can put in that allows you to turn on and off the seeding or the fertilizing function of in-game fertilize or seeders. This obviously is not an in-game seeder, and this mod does not have that capability to turn off the fertilization. And we stop our driver here. If you look at the F1 menu, the only options we have really related to the seeder is to turn it on and off, and to lift and lower, and to fold and unfold. Okay, so we do not have the ability to turn off fertilization in this particular seeder. I had some fellow farm sim people, including Duck Zorley, try out various other seeders that they had and see what kind of results they got with respect to that option. And they were seeing that option also. Duck Zorley was seeing it with a Horsch DLC seeder. So that is pretty cool. If you don't see it, you may not be running a new enough version of Courseplay. I am running 5.02.00047.dev. I've got this down off of GitHub. So I thought I wanted to, I definitely wanted to show that to you during the seeding video, and I had forgotten all about that yesterday when we were seeding. So I thought I'd go ahead and show it to you today. So take a look at that and use it if you want to. We're just going to go ahead and finish seeding here. Looks like we also need to restock our greenhouses. That is a rather regular occurrence now. Doesn't seem like the greenhouses hold water or manure for long. So we are going to finish up this field. In fact, we're just going to let horseplay finish this field up. We're going to go on over, run back to our house, and get the pickup truck. We're going to go run over to the greenhouses and care for them. And I'll show you my the orchard that we put in. So, it's still spring. Technically, there wouldn't be fruit on the trees, but I went ahead and put the orchard in, put the trees in anyway, just to take advantage of the income that they provide. It is raining, so our wipers turn on automatically. That is a pretty cool feature of this truck. This is a GTX modding pickup truck pack. Triple truck pack that's in the mod hub. Been using it for the water tank and the flatbed to transport pallets around. It's quite the handy truck, that's for sure. Greenhouses are just up the way here. And the first thing we're going to do is fill up the tank here and get some more water, because we're going to go ahead and put water in our orchard, water our trees. This particular tank holds 3,000 liters. It's a cool little animation to open the lid. So there are the trees right there, in front of me. Way over here. And right up here. So this is the little grass area where we baled grass last year. Or baled some hay. Pull up here. And each greenhouse takes 500 liters of water. Or not greenhouse, each tree takes 500 liters of water and 1,000 liters of manure. Should have enough trees in here to, or enough water in here to hit all our trees. I guess we're going to be short. We're going to have to go back and get some more water. Got 2 more trees up the hill there. Right. So the greenhouses and the trees, they bring a nice little, I guess, diversion to the farming. We need to come down here like basically every other day and restock the greenhouses and restock the orchard, apple trees. So again, the apple trees are in the mod hub. I think they are both PC and console. They are an apple tree or an orange tree. They do not work with seasons from the standpoint of changing their texture. So they will stay leafy and green all year long, and they will bear fruit all year long. So it'd be cool if they were updated and somehow they became seasons aware, and they only produced fruit in summer, or maybe in summer and autumn. That would be pretty cool. Or maybe more accurately, maybe it's midsummer or late summer and autumn for the bearing of fruit and the actual bringing in of money. But instead, these trees bring in money every day, so they're not too bad. I think they cost about $5,000 a tree, and depending on your difficulty level, they bring in a different amount of money. Depending on the difficulty level, I think on hard they bring in maybe it's $20 an. I would think it's more than $20 a day. Maybe it's $20 an hour per tree. So while we fill that one up, let's go ahead and put some manure around our trees. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please consider the nice and handy like button. If not, well, what are you doing still watching the video if you didn't like it? And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We do Let's Play videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Midtown currently. We do map videos every Tuesday and Thursday fairly regularly. And right now we're just doing some Churn Farm on the weekends to close it out and get caught up to the end of autumn. So we bring our manure over here and we dump it at the base, and we get a little pile of poo, if you will, at the base of the tree, and we now have apples. They're 2D apples. They're just a picture. You have little apples now on the tree. When the tree doesn't have both ingredients, it does not have fruit. I guess I should say when it doesn't have water, either ingredient, it doesn't have fruit. And once you add water or manure, it will bear fruit and start producing you money. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys. And until next time, happy farming.